Hello friends, today we will be talking about molecular taxonomy. The subject molecular taxonomy, it deals with, it's a modern branch of taxonomy. It is mainly based on molecular characteristics such as DNA, RNA and proteins. Modern taxonomy is primarily based on these macromolecular sequences. Molecules such as DNA, RNA and proteins carry informations and these sequences and the sequences that they carry serve as molecular tools to determine evolutionary or phylogenetic relationships of an organism with the others. A slight change in the sequence might cause a creation of a new species. So this is considered as an evolutionary event, and this occurs at a particular time in geological history. It has occurred many a times that a sequence has been changed and the organism has evolved into a new species. Therefore, these organisms, these macromolecules rather, it serves as molecular chronometer or molecular clock, you can say. They are also called cementioids. Some of the methods that are employed in molecular taxonomy include 16S rDNA sequence analysis. 16S rDNA is a conserved gene. DNA sequences sequence comparison is a common technique in molecular taxonomy. In that case, genes that are conserved through evolution are taken into consideration because too much of change in the gene will not carry any information, and even if a gene is 100% conserved also, that is not also good for taxonomic comparison, because in that case all organisms will be same. So 16S rDNA is a very good gene which is conserved and has little changes also specific to a particular organism. So it serves as a kind of gene, such a gene which can be used. The sequence of that can serve as an important tool for bacterial classification or bacterial identification. In place of 16S rRNA, 18S rDNA sequences are used in case of eukaryotic systems in the same way. So once a new bacterium is isolated, it is subjected to 16S rDNA sequence analysis. Along with the other morphological and biochemical and identification tests that are available, this is also carried out parallelly. And then the sequence that is obtained after 16S rDNA sequencing is submitted in the data bank, that is GenBank or DDBJ, DNA Data Bank of Japan, wherever, or EMBL also. And the query sequence, that is the new sequence, this sequence that is obtained, that is the query sequence, is compared for homology with the existing sequences in the data bank. Using a search engine like BLAST, Basic Local Alignment Search Tool, or there is another database available, Ribosomal Database Project, that is specific for ribosomal sequence analysis. So 16S rDNA sequencing serves a very good tool for bacterial identification. There is another which is related with this, is ribotyping. In this method, the total DNA is isolated from the bacterial cell and is subjected to restriction digestion. The gel that is obtained is transferred to membrane through southern blotting, and it is hybridized with a probe of 16S rDNA. It gives a binding pattern of this kind. Say this binding pattern is specific for a particular species. Each of these lengths contain binding pattern. These are DNA bands after restriction digestion, and you can see each of them: Lactobacillus kaffir, Lactobacillus brevis, Lactobacillus acidophilus, Lactobacillus lactis. Each of them have a specific restriction pattern. So this is a very good tool, ribotyping. The DNA is first isolated, it is digested with a restriction enzyme and run on a gel, then transferred to a membrane via southern blotting. This is the technique. This membrane is then subjected to hybridization with the 16S rDNA probe, producing an autoradiogram, an example of which has been shown here. There is another technique called ARDRA, Amplified rDNA Restriction Analysis. It simplifies the above experiment, ribotyping. In that case, in this case, the 16S rDNA is first amplified using a PCR technique. The PCR product that is obtained is then digested with certain restriction endonuclease. Rather than going for Southern blotting, a longer process, at the first instance, the 16S rDNA is amplified, leaving the other DNA. So the DNA becomes purified, and then if you digest with restriction endonuclease, you don't need to do Southern blotting. The gel that will appear will show a banding pattern, and that will be a characteristic of a particular species. So this is called ARDRA. Here the cells are there. It is lysed in DNA extraction. DNA is denatured in PCR amplified, and then substitute restriction enzyme digestion, maybe like EcoR1 or BAMH1 or SAL1 digestion. It produces, then run on a gel. It gives a banding pattern. If you take total DNA without doing PCR, when you digest with this, as you did in case of ribotyping, this one, it will not produce a bands like this. Rather, it will produce smears, and that's why you need to do Southern blotting after that. So the next thing that can be done for molecular taxonomy is DNA-DNA hybridization or DNA-RNA hybridization. What is this? Nowadays, this technique has become very important. Once you have identified your organism with the help of your 16S rDNA sequence, scientists would say that if you claim up to the species level identification, you have to do a DNA-DNA hybridization. Your DNA, the query DNA of the bacterium that you have isolated, it must be hybridized with the type specimen. The type specimen is that specimen on the basis of which the nomenclature of the organism is permanently attached. So that means that it is the same organism on the basis of which the name of the species was first time given. So you can obtain that from the culture collection centers like ATCC or MTCC or FMSZ, whatever. But there are many culture collection centers. I think ATCC will contain, it is one of the largest, so it will have all the type specimen. One can obtain the type specimen from there, and the DNA of that specimen, the DNA of the type specimen has to be isolated and it has to be fragmented and denatured. Similarly, the DNA of the query bacterium has to be isolated and it has to be fragmented and denatured. One of the DNA samples of them, either the type specimen or that of the query sequence, query specimen, has to be radio labeled, and then after denaturing they will be allowed to rehybridize. So suppose this is strand 1 is your query sequence and strand 2 is the known type specimen. These are the fragments of DNA that has been denatured, fragmented and denatured by heating, and then they are allowed to hybridize. If 100% hybridization occurs, then you can say strand 1 is same as that of strand 2. Otherwise, it is not. So this is how DNA-DNA hybridization is done. It is a confirmation test. Same is the case with the DNA-RNA hybridization, but that is not recommended that much, because DNA-RNA hybridization is difficult to handle, but it has also got the same principle. This is the